Good morning. I am making this presentation as part of the MOOC final project in the World Bank Financing for Development course. And I'm making this presentation as a case for the mitigation of climate change by enhancing private sector investment in irrigation infrastructure in a country called Zimbabwe. I am posing as an advisor to the International Development Association, which is part of the World Bank Group. So what is the problem at hand? So the problem at hand is that the nation of Zimbabwe has been facing very erratic and inconsistent rainfall patterns. For example, in the 2015 into 2016 rainfall season, the country was heavily affected by the El Nino, and in that regard, 4 million people were considered to be food insecure and required food assistance. And that component makes up about 44% of the rural population of the country. In the following rainfall season of 2016 to 2017, the country received higher than normal rainfall, which led to flooding. So the country of Zimbabwe has been facing sharp fluctuations in rainfall patterns due to the effects of climate change. However, in that season in which the country received higher than normal rainfall patterns, it was realized that the country lacked effective water harvesting and preservation infrastructure. As such infrastructure would have helped to harvest and store water which would have been used in pending droughts or in the dry seasons, both by the smallholder farmers and the commercial agricultural. As we make this investment case to the World Bank, what is the background to Zimbabwe and what challenges is the country facing? Zimbabwe is ranked at number 161 out of 190 on the 2017 World Bank Ease of Doing Business Index. The country is also categorized as a low income bracket by the World Bank and is also in the high alert category of the Fund for Peace Fragile State Index for 2016. The country has also had a protracted tension-filled political climate marked by disputed elections, especially in 2018, as well as a regional conflict that required SADC, which is the regional bloc, to mediate in the country from 2007 to 2013. There's also been rampant protests and questions have emerged around the observation of the rule of law in the country. And currently there's also very heated tensions over succession to the country's 93-year-old president, Robert Mugabe. The economy has not also been performing well, marked by high unemployment, pegged at above 80%, lack of liquidity in financial markets, rampant company closures, and inconsistent policy framework by government. The country therefore qualifies in the Fragile and Conflict-Affected States, FCA, and was on the World Bank Harmonized List of Fragile Situations in 2015-2016. So what is the investment proposition that is being made? The proposition is being made to the International Development Association of the World Bank to mobilize private sector investment in dam and irrigation infrastructure development in the low rainfall regions of Zimbabwe. The International Development Association is also being asked to consider its cascading approach in undertaking or considering this in a finance for infrastructure proposal. IDA is being advised to primarily consider private sector investment as a priority because this is what seems feasible under the current circumstances. And such private sector investment must be hinged on foreign direct investment. There is very little room for public sector investment, given that the government of Zimbabwe has a very low domestic resource mobilization, which is affected by the poorly performing economy, as well as a low tax to GDP ratio. There are also very poorly developed domestic private capital markets in Zimbabwe. This, therefore, ensures that only foreign direct investment may be the most feasible in this case, and IDA is therefore being asked to consider FDI as the most viable option for infrastructure investment in Zimbabwe. Who are the stakeholders that IDA would need to work with from within the World Bank? IDA would need to work with the IFC, International Finance Corporation. This is because the IFC has the Managed Co-Lending Portfolio Program, MCPP, which can can co-invest in such projects as the dam and irrigation infrastructure project being proposed, together with the other international institutional investors. Number two, IFC can also consider to use its Creating Markets Advisory Window initiative to support the government of Zimbabwe in creating an enabling environment for private sector investment. Number three, IDA can also work with MIGA, which is the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, to ensure that there is exploration of risk-sharing opportunities with the private sector for investment in Zimbabwe, including the provision of political risk guarantees, given that Zimbabwe is a highly politically risk country. And then lastly, IDA can also consider working with the Global Infrastructure Facility, GIF, to develop effective project pipeline and also enhance an effective and efficient procurement process, which will allow delivery of the said investment in record time as well as at the right quality. So this investment case is being made to IDA, which is part of the World Bank, and should IDA invest in Zimbabwe's irrigation infrastructure, this will assist in mitigating the effects of climate change and aid in the realization of the SDGs, which will therefore set a path for the realization of the targets that have been set in the SDGs by the year 2030. Thank you.